This is a training video reviewing the new sizing methods in WDQ. We've always sized each window individually, whether it's a single window or mold window. But now you have the capability of inputting in different sizes where this software will automatically calculate each unit's size. So these sizing methods are the unit size, which we've always used, the overall frame dimension, where you can type in the overall width and height for the line item, whether it's a single unit or mold line item, and this will factor in the mullion and coupler sizing. The brick mold size, where you can input in the brick mold to brick mold dimensions, and it will subtract those values to then calculate out each unit's frame dimensions. The rough opening size, where you type in the rough opening and the system will deduct the RO values. And then also a masonry size, where it will factor in a masonry opening buffer zone. So we'll go ahead and create a new quote. You'll notice in the quote defaults pop up there, you can select the sizing method that will default for each line item. For this, let's say we'll default to rough opening size. And I'm also going to set a brick mold or exterior trim option right here. So every line item will default to that. That's important for the brick mold size calculation value. So we'll click submit and we'll create a line item. Do a single window. First one we'll just do unit size. That's what we've always used in the software. Say 32 by 54. Click save right there and it calculates it. You can see overall frame dimension 32 by 54. The software also calculated our brick mold to brick mold dimension based upon what we had set up. So let's click save and new. And let's do a 2-wide casement, and we'll do the overall frame dimension right here. So this is what we'll say 60 inches by 60 inches. The software will automatically calculate each unit size, doing an even split while factoring in any mullions and couplers. So here you can see we have an overall frame dimension of 60 inches wide by 60 inches tall, but my unit dimension is 29.5 wide, 29.5 wide, because there is a 1-inch coupler in the middle. So it is factoring in each coupler's sizing. Next, let's try a rough opening size right here. So actually we'll just go to 1 wide for simplicity purposes. Say it's 30 by 60. And you can see it calculated out the window width to be 29.5 by 59.5. Because if we go to the series setup page, you can input in the rough opening values right here. So if we say our rough opening calculation is, say, 0.75 inches, 0.75, if I do a new line item of the exact same rough opening size, you'll see my dimensions are different. So let's say 30 by 60 rough opening. So then my window size should be 29.25 by 59.25. And here you can see 29.25 by 59.25. And this also works for mold units. Let's say we have like a 3-wide picture window. I type in a rough opening size of 90 inches by 72.5 inches right there. I click submit, click save, and you can see it deducted the 3/4 inches, deducted the 3/4 inches, evenly split it out, it factored in the mullion widths, it drew our brick molds and everything. So what took much more longer time to manually calculate each unit size and then configure each one individually now has become a much quicker quoting process. Next one I will show you is, this is called the masonry opening adder. So it's used in conjunction with brick molds, but what it's doing is it's subtracting out the brick mold dimension values and also subtracting out a buffer zone for the masonry opening. So here I put in 30 by 60, and then it calculated the size, and you can see my brick mold size is only 29 3/4 by 59 3/4 because I had a masonry opening value under setup, products, options, exterior trim. We open this one up. You can see I had for the widths, I had a 1/4 inch value, and then you can individually itemize out the header and sill. So those two together is a total of a 1/4 of an inch. So it's just providing that additional safety buffer zone when doing masonry openings right there. So if you go to setup, then settings here at the bottom, then click quote, you can choose which of these sizing methods are active. So if you don't want to make a certain sizing method like masonry opening available or the brick mold size, you'd simply set it to no. And then you can also input in the name of each sizing method. So this is a general description of what we are sizing, and then you can input in your personal name that you want to use. And then under setup, quote defaults, we have sizing method as a quote default option. You can input the name, make it available on the quote defaults pop-up, and then also select your default sizing option that shows up when the quote default's there. So you can still change it per quote. This is just the default method right here. So if we say, all right, I want the rough opening size, because we do a lot of new construction projects, set that as my default. So then every time you start a quote, most likely you don't have to change that selection. So this concludes the training video on the new sizing methods. I think it'll be a very helpful method to help speed up the quoting process and do a lot of the math for you when you have mold units. If there are any questions, feel free to give us a call. Thank you.